Hello and welcome to Podcast of a Lincoln Geek. I'm your host, Dan Face, the podcaster general. This is our little podcast about board games. I'm joined by my friends and co-hosts, Mr. Chris. You just heard him there. He spoke before I introduced him. How rude, Chris.
Oh.
And we have George. Say hello, George.
Hello, George.
Well said. And we're here on a blisteringly hot day, just for the records, for the historical purposes. This is the heatwave day for the UK, 40 degrees. How are you gentlemen feeling?
My brain is melted away.
I'm surprised you can hear any of us talk over the fans playing right next to us constantly.
Other than George's awesome little fan going, hey, hello.
I believe in you, George.
I believe in you. You can do it.
It is a very cute little fan. I wish I had a bigger fan, but no, it is a tiny little 4-incher.
Okay, well, moving swiftly on. Today's podcast is a spontaneous one. We're not doing any of our planned topics because we're all sweltering away. We've decided to make this topic about what games do you play on a sunny day? What board games or card games or just games in general do you like to play with your friends outside, leaving the house?
Leaving the house in this kind of weather? What are you thinking? Are you crazy fool?
Yes.
Instantly burst into flames. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm the kind of guy that will burn just walking past a sunbed.
Yes, I like you and built for winter, Dan. Give me snow every day of the week. I'm fine.
Yes, I have a built-in cold resistance, but a very low heat resistance, I've discovered.
I'm a thermonuclear reactor and I thrive on the heat. I'm fine.
Damn you, Chris.
But I also tan really well as well.
We don't take kindly to your sorts around here. Go outside.
Yeah.
I would be outside, but I've got to work, so I'm indoors.
So, guys, what are your favourite games to play? Maybe it's a barbecue. Maybe you're all just outside having a nice beer in a beer garden. You got like a little table in front of you. What kind of games would you play with your friends in the outdoors?
My favourite is one which we took on holiday with us a couple of years ago now, in the before times. Yes, that was inflatable Pass the Pigs. I think most people have heard of Pass the Pigs at some point or another in their lives, but for those that haven't, Pass the Pigs is a push your luck game where you chuck 2 little pigs, and depending on how they land on the table, you earn points, and the first person to get to 100 points wins. However, there is one position called Making Bacon, where if either of the two touch, you automatically go back to 0 points, no matter how many you'd banked from before, and there's a pig out, which is where they've got different coloured sides on them, which basically means that you end your current go. And this is exactly what it says on the tin. You have 2 inflatable pigs. Otherwise, the rules are exactly the same as Pass the Pigs.
And it's just so much fun.
Especially when you've got a dog chasing the flying pigs. The simple version is good for a tabletop, but the inflatable version is so much fun in a garden with lots of water flying around and wonderful summer chaos.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I've never actually played the inflatable version. I'm quickly Googling it as we speak, so my son will probably love that.
Another one which I would recommend for outdoor play,
Skull, yes.
Classic. It's brilliant. I say not too many moving pieces. Great fun, good bluffing, social deduction game.
Is it really a social deduction game? Isn't it just?
No, it's a bluffing game.
I would say bluffing,
It's a
because
bluffing game.
there's no hidden traitor or anything like that.
No, you're literally bluffing.
I don't know, it depends on who you play with. When they play the skull every single time.
If you're no good at poker and bluffing people, then this game is not for you.
Yes, I suppose you need a bit of a poker face. I suppose it's that kind of bluffing, isn't it? I don't think this is ideal choice, George, because like you said, there's not many components. You've literally got 4 coasters kind of in front of you. That's about it,
Yeah,
really,
they're like
isn't
beer
it?
mats, aren't they?
The coasters, so they don't just blow around.
Yeah, they're nice,
willy-nilly.
sturdy card.
If they do, they're not going to get damaged, particularly. Of course, you could just be, really ballsy and actually use them as coasters and have your beer on top of them.
Oh my god, that would give me anxiety attacks these days.
Beer coaster board games.
Yeah, you could easily make your own
games
version, couldn't you?
Got to be used as beer, and your beer or your drink beverage is part of the game. Oh my god, you just give me an idea.
This is great. I mean, you could literally just get 4 beer coasters and just draw 4 beer mats, whatever, and just draw a skull on one of them and flowers on 3 of the others.
I mean, you could even go even simpler than that and just draw a cross on one side of one.
Exactly. Even better.
Beer mat games, that's exactly what I was getting at, yeah.
Right.
I've got a great one outdoor game. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
You've seen it played on Big Bang Theory where Sheldon wears a hard helmet. Yes, that's right. It's Jenga. Don't get me wrong. It's a simplistic game, but it's still a fun outdoor game, especially when it's oversized. You may not need to go as over the top like Sheldon does and actually wear a hard hat, but still, Jenga's just a good game in general.
It's a classic game there.
There's a couple of other suggestions. Twister is another good outdoor fun family game.
Depends how
Oh,
windy it
definitely.
is. It might blow them out way.
It's not windy. You did say it was not windy.
Okay, you're right. That was the scenario I said.
But let's face it, it's just a simple plastic mat. You could just get some garden tent pegs and peg that down.
You could indeed.
If we're not talking about oversized games as well, Big Potato do one called OK Play, which is easy outdoor. It's a head-to-head 5-in-a-row tile game. It comes with an actual carabiner clip, so it's designed to be played on the go or outside. What about you, Dan?
I'm just trying to think of games that play outside. Most of them are probably in your garden, Chris. I think we played One Night Ultimate Werewolf a few times.
Yes, we have, yeah.
Because that's relatively simple. You've all got one card each. It does need to be around a smallish table, though. One to consider, because everyone needs to be able to reach each other's card. But that's it. There's literally just one card each.
And 3 in the middle.
And 3 in
Yeah.
the middle, yes, if you are quite...
And mentioning that then, could you play Blood on the Clock Tower
I think you
outdoors?
could.
The Grimoire is felted, and after that, it's just seating around the table, so there's no reason why not.
And people could sneak off to their own corners of the garden to have their private chats and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I've not played it yet, I know there's going to be people listening to the podcast going, Chris, you heathen.
Yep.
But I just haven't got round to playing it yet.
We throw down the gauntlet in a previous episode. We have roped Chris into agreeing he will play one game with us.
But yes, I think you could do that outdoors as well.
I've seen it done already.
Do you have your physical copy yet, George?
Not yet, no.
Okay, well, when it is, we should have an outdoor party just to celebrate. Assuming it's still summer when it arrives.
Well, as discussed, we're winter beings anyway, and there's no reason why you couldn't do it around a hot tub.
A hot tub. Or you could do it outside round a log burner.
Yeah, just don't drop your components into the log burner.
Hot tub, George. Set
hot
the
tub.
mood. Come on.
I thought about another one that's a big social deduction game. 2 rooms and a boom.
Oh, yeah.
I think that could quite feasibly be played outside.
Feasibly similar vein with some other social deduction one Spyfall.
Oh, yeah, Spyfall. Yeah, brilliant. Or you literally have one card each in both of those games.
But because it's something that you hold and you don't need to put down somewhere, the wind won't bother you too much. So.
For people that aren't aware of the games we just mentioned, 2 rooms and a boom is a massive game that can have up to like 50 players or something ridiculous. But it can play, I believe, 10 plus, I think, something like that. And you need a narrator as well. You basically split the whole group into 2 teams or 2 rooms, and everyone has a role card saying what actual team they're on. So one could be blue, one could be red team, and they're all mixed up, and they have to basically choose, like a hostage negotiation, who to switch between each room, and you've got a certain number of rounds. And basically, the blue team want to protect one character, president, I believe, and the red team want to blow up the president.
Yes, I remember playing this at your house.
So one of the red team has a card saying the bomber at the end of the game after 3 rounds. So you could have people standing on opposite sides of the garden. If the bomber and the president are in the same room, it goes off, boom, the red team win. If they're in different rooms, the blue team wins. So it's very simple. 50-50, it just depends who ends up in what room. And there's loads of extra roles as well. I think it rivals Blood on the Cocktail for all the different custom roles. They're all a lot simpler, obviously. But you have guys that aren't ever allowed to show their cards, so they look extra suspicious. Or you have spy cards that look like the opposite team's card, but they actually say spy on them, like in the word spy, so you just have to hide that part of the card. And what was the other one we mentioned? Spyfall is also a very simple game. Everyone gets a card, and for most people, it's going to say like a location. Like it could be the beach or jail, something like that. Apart from one player or 2, depending on player count, will literally say spy, and it won't give them any information about what location they're at. The normal people have to ask each other questions talking about their current location without actually saying where they are.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to try and figure out who doesn't have a clue where they are. So you could ask people like a question, do you like it here? That kind of thing. And you can't show each other's cards. So they'll be like, yes. And then depending on what they are, if the team with the info figure out who's just making it up, they win. And the spy, if they manage, from all the questions go around, if they manage to figure out their location, they win instead. They can like yell out, I'm the spy and we're at the beach. That kind of thing.
Okay.
It's quite a fun little game actually, Chris. Have you played it?
No, I've not played that one, but it definitely sounds interesting.
It's a lovely fun party game, and I can definitely imagine that being played outside. So it fits the criteria for this episode.
I think we've got quite a good selection there for people to go outside and play board games in this lovely weather. So if you like our suggestions, let us know. Well, you can chat to us and tell us about it on our Discord, or if you're just a social media peep, you can check us out on social media as well, can't they, guys?
You can find everything on our website, doalg.co.uk, or directlincolngeek.com if you like typing long things. And as I just remember, guys, if you're out in the sun, do be safe. Make sure you've got plenty of sun cream on, and just try and stay shaded where you can.
And stay hydrated. Drink water.
Yes.
Always fun. Always a pleasure, guys. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And we'll catch you next time for a podcast of Lincoln Geek.
Take care, stay safe.
Keep gaming.
Get your geek on.